All right, everybody, it's all chalk and it's week 15. We're coming down to the home stretch. I've been crushing it so far. I mean, if you look, I'm sitting here and I'm talking about number 3 in the world, right? Plus 22 units overall. If you look at my record, it's been pretty solid. I go to my profile and you can see here I've got a 57% win percentage. But if you look at my doubles and my triples, I'm at 65% on the doubles, 67% on my triples. If it weren't for the damn over/under, I'd probably be sitting in first place in the world right now. But I haven't had the best luck with my totals. So looking at week 15, I want to walk you through my picks really quickly. We're going to start things off on Thursday night. It's the Los Angeles Rams traveling to San Francisco, my hometown, to take on the mighty 49ers. The 49ers are going to be -3 at home against the Rams tonight. So, I mean, the two teams played earlier this season. When they met last time, the Rams didn't have two of their star wideouts, and the Niners were probably a fair amount healthier back then. They did have Trent Williams. They did have Jordan Mason. They had I think they had Brandon Ayuk at that point. So they were a healthier team. Yet somehow this time, maybe because they had a pretty impressive victory against the Bears last week, the Las Vegas odds makers have the 49ers as favorites in this game, which I find quite surprising considering the Rams have a better record and they have a victory against the 49ers under their belt, and they were kind of the injured team last time when they won versus the 49ers who were healthier last time when they lost. This time, those two things have been reversed, and yet somehow the Rams are dogs. I guess it's just that home field advantage. But either way, I'm a diehard 49er fan, so what I call this is a emotional hedge. I like to sometimes bet against my own team, knowing that if they lose, at least I'll have won my bet. And if they win, I don't really care about my bet because all that matters is they win. I'm sure a lot of people out there would look at me with complete scorn and hate for that exact statement. But it is what it is, man. We all have our philosophies in this world of betting, and so that's mine. I typically do bet on the 49ers for what it's worth. I just sometimes when I just see that it's stacked a certain way and I feel like my gut's telling me it's going to go a certain way, I don't like to bet on the 49ers just because they're the 49ers. I hope that makes sense. I won't dawdle on it any longer, but at least I'm explaining my rationale a little bit. Emotional hedge on the Rams on Thursday night, tonight. Then we got the Sunday morning game. It's going to be the Miami Dolphins going into Houston to take on the Texans. Oh man, the Dolphins, they're 6-7 overall. The Texans, they're in first place in the South, AFC South, that is. When you look at their records, I'm thinking about the Texans, they're 4-2 at home. The Dolphins, meanwhile, are 2-4 on the road. If you look at the Dolphins, they're 6-7. But the only good win of those 6, I think, if you even want to call it a good win, came against the Rams. The rest have been kind of dink and dunk teams, not so hot. The Texans, meanwhile, they do have a fairly good record, 8-5 overall, and they're narrow losses against good teams. So those 5 losses, they've come against some pretty good squads. And so that's kind of my philosophy on picking the Texans in this game. Moving on to the Sunday afternoon game, what a matchup we have here. It's the America's Game of the Week at 1:25 p.m. Buffalo Bills heading into Detroit to take on the Lions. The Lions are going to be -2.5 in that game. So let's look at the Bills. Let's think about the Bills. The Bills are amazing. Josh Allen has got to be one of my favorite quarterbacks in the leagues right now. And the Bills are 10-3 overall. They did lose last week to the Rams, which isn't the best team in the NFL. So it's a little bit confusing how they could lose a game like that. Then again, the Rams can be tough, man. You don't want to play the Rams necessarily, even if you are a good squad. Bills are first place in the AFC East. But if you look at their record, okay, they got these 10 wins. And then you look at all their wins, all 10 of them, and you see one that really stands out. That's the Kansas City Chiefs. The rest of them have been, good wins, but not against the most amazing opponents. So take that for what it's worth. Meanwhile, the Lions, they've got a great record in a tough division. And not just a great record. These dudes are on an 11-game win streak. They're 12-1 overall. They beat a tough Packers team in a tough game, like a tough, NFC North matchup last week on Thursday Night Football. I don't know, man. It's just, it's just one of those teams this year, they just seem like you don't want to pick against them. So I'm going to go with the Lions in this game against the Bills. It's hard to do, right? Hard to bet against the Bills, but you got to pick one of those two teams. It's hard to bet against the Lions too. So I'm going to go with the Lions. We'll see what happens. Fingers crossed. So up next, we have the Sunday night football game. That's going to be, the Sunday night football game. And we have the Green Bay Packers against the Seattle Seahawks. So the Packers, what do you want to say about the Packers? 9-4 overall. Third place in the NFC North, but the NFC North's tough, right? You got the Lions and the Vikings ahead of them. They lost last week to the Lions, but they lost close. They covered the spread, or actually it ended up being a push. The spread was 3, the Lions won by 3. For me, some people got the Packers at plus 3.5, and those people covered on their Packers bet. So they're playing good teams tough, right? But I like to look at the total. I like to look at the whole season, especially at this point in the year. And I look at everyone they've played, and I circle one team that is 500 or above, and that's the Los Angeles Rams. Everybody else they've beat out of those 9 wins, everybody else has been not so great. I've been saying that a lot today, but that's kind of one of my philosophies when I bet, when I pick. I like to pick the teams based on, how they've performed, but also difficulty of schedule. I'm kind of like a BCS sports bettor. Seahawks, meanwhile, 8-5 overall, 4-game win streak, first place in the NFC West, beat the Cardinals on Sunday. So I cannot get over the fact that I feel like the Seahawks are an illusion. I don't know what it is about them, but they just don't strike me as this incredible first place 8-5 team that is right now in the lead of the NFC West. Keeping in mind the NFC West is anybody's game at this point. The whole division is within a couple games of one another. So I feel like the Seahawks are a bit of an illusion. I could be dead wrong on that, but because of that reason, I'm going to go with the Packers on Sunday Night Football. We have 2 Monday night games this week. Typically, if there's only one Monday night game, I'll do that Monday night game and add the over-under total. This week, we're going to do both the Monday night games, which means the Las Vegas Raiders are going to make a rare appearance on All Chalk, this year at least. So the first game, though, that we're going to cover here is the Bears versus the Vikings, which is a killer game, right? I love this game. It's 2 northern kind of traditional NFL awesome storied franchises kind of going head-to-head in a night game on Monday, Christmas time. It's all great. Bears are 4-9 overall, and they're on a 7-game losing streak. But they've been playing good teams tough. And one of those good teams that they've played before is the Minnesota Vikings. They covered the last time they came out against the Vikings. They lost by a field goal in overtime the last time they played, but they covered the spread. I picked the Bears in that game. I'm going to pick the Bears again tonight. The Vikings here, they're 11-2 overall. They're on the 6-game heater. They're second in the NFC North behind only the Lions. They handled the Falcons pretty easily last Sunday. It was interesting in the fourth quarter until they recovered a kickoff return, a fumble on a kickoff return, and put the game away at that point. They had just scored a touchdown, kicked off, fumble on the return. Vikings take over in the red zone. The rest is history. They ended up winning by a couple scores there. But I'm feeling like the Vikings they have this great record, and to be sure, they're a good team. Sam Darnold, he's doing big things. Justin Jefferson, you can't argue with greatness. But I feel like they got a great record with a soft schedule. And since the Bears covered last time, I'm going to go with the Bears again. I can't leave my boys behind. You came through for me once. You're going to come through for me again. Fingers crossed that's the case. Monday night, the next game, we got 2 of them. Monday night, Falcons, Raiders. So the Falcons, they're 6-7 overall. They've lost 4 in a row, but they're still right in the mix in the NFC South. So they got something to play for, right? They're right there behind, I think the Buccaneers are in first place, and they're right behind them. So NFC South is not the best division. And so they still have every bit of a chance to win. The Raiders, meanwhile, gosh, are they starting to think about tanking? You got Deion Sanders in their GM's ear saying, draft those Sanders boys. Are they starting to think about the NFL draft? Are they starting to dip out of this thing? I think that's the case. I'm going to go with the Falcons, -4. I don't think that the Raiders have anything to play for. As a matter of fact, I think they might have something to lose for. And I do think the Falcons are very well incentivized to come out and kick some butt on Monday night. They are going into Vegas, so maybe that's the home field pride situation, and the Raiders are going to show up. The Raiders have, I mean, damn near beat the Chiefs at home not too long ago, a couple weeks back. We all remember that, when they just incredibly crummy clock management to end the game, and they end up not kicking that field goal to beat the Chiefs, or at least tie it to go to overtime. I don't know. So the Raiders are good, and it could be a mistake pick, but I'm going to go for it. What can I say? All right, so multipliers. Let's see. I'm going to go with Green Bay Packers with a triple. I just feel like the Seahawks are an illusion. I'm going to go with the Falcons. Hate that. Got to do it. You got to use your multipliers to have a chance in a group with any more than 6 people. That's my theory. So you got to use them. And this week's pretty tough to pick multipliers for me. I'm gonna go with the Lions. It'll make the game more fun to watch. It will make it so I care to tune in on Sunday afternoon when I could be out hanging Christmas lights or doing any number of chores around the house. I can sit my ass on the couch and watch a good NFL game. So that's gonna be my picks for the week. I'm gonna go ahead and hit confirm here. And there it is. My game card is set. Let's go to the main menu, quickly look at groups. I'll go to Poppy Shop and look at this. We're all stacked up. A lot of people on the Rams tonight, even though we're a bunch of homers here. The people who do pick the Niners are tripling on the Niners, so it's going to be a big swing. Looks like I've got the Texans, a lot of people on the Dolphins. Everybody's on Detroit with doubles. Nobody's picking the Seahawks except for a couple of them. And just me and one other person dared to pick the Bears against the Vikings. You got to love it when it's like that. That's a huge game for my week. A lot of doubles, a lot of triples out there on that Monday night game, and I got the Bears. That means that I'm probably going to have a chance at the end of this week to win this group, or at least be in the top echelon, because of the fact that I'm one of the only people who picked the Bears. Damn near a bad boy pick. A bad boy is when you're the only one to pick them. Bad boy like Dylan McKay, right? You do things because nobody else is doing. You don't follow the crowd. And then everybody's on the Falcons. Everybody's on the Falcons on Monday night. So far, there's probably still a couple more entries still to come. But that's our week for the week, man. I can't wait to see how it goes. I'm having a blast with All Chalk. I know you will too. It's free to play. Get in. Get your picks in. You can play against the computer. If you go here to groups, I'm going here, and I'm just going to this. You don't need to find a group of friends. You can just play against the field, man. See how you stack up against the field. It's going to reset again at the start of the next NFL season, but you can kind of see where you rank, and you can just track your stats. If nothing else, if you don't want to play in a group, just track your stats. Make your picks for free and track your stats. See how you do. It's a good way to wet your beak when it comes to sports betting, and what you're going to find is the same thing I found. I had to find out the hard way by losing a couple bucks when I was in college at a sports book. I never lost much. I never bet too much, but I didn't have much to lose. So it kept me from getting a couple burritos down there in San Diego. What I learned was I couldn't do it. And so I had to walk away from sports betting because I sucked at it. But then I invented this game specifically for one reason. The reason was I loved the action that sports betting brought to my week of being an NFL fan. And this is a simulated week of sports betting. And it's all the games that you typically bet on. If you're a casual like me, you're betting on those social games. Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night. All the games that people all over the country are going to be sitting on their couches, watching in their own living rooms. And you can text message with your buddies, and you can have a blast playing this game. And it's free. So that's why I created it. That's why I spent the summer having it developed, and we're going to go hard next year. Right now we're in kind of soft launch phase, but if you're seeing this video, I hope you'll download All Chalk for free. It's on the App Store and Google Play, and you can go to www.allchalkapp.com, and you'll have all the links for download, some explainers. You'll understand the rules a little bit better, and yeah, man, you could have a good time just like me and my buddies are doing. And I'll check you next time. Let's talk on Tuesday, and we'll see how the week went.